Before we begin, thank you very much to Teletran4 for joining the Patreon campaign over at patreon.com/TJOmega. The support has been incredible, guys. I thank all of you for pitching in and making this channel what it is right now and allowing me to continue it. And we're getting like really close to forcing me to do 52 reviews for the Beast Wars cartoon. I mean, I put it out there. I'm willing to do it if you're willing to push that far, so we'll see. For now, though, we are staring at Cybertron Hotshot, and because, of course, I will never pass up an opportunity to make fun of Hotshot, even if it's the Hotshot I like. So we're looking at him because we are going to take a look today at stock photos, and stock photos are really important when it comes to Transformers. It's often the first thing we see of a brand new figure, and if you're looking through retailers, it's usually the default image you see that gives you that first impression and lets you know whether or not a toy is worth purchasing or not. It can make or break the sales of a figure. But they don't really pay attention to that sometimes. So the people who take the photos are generally just photo interns. They don't really know Transformers. They handle just about every Hasbro property. A My Little Pony is easy to sit down and take a photo of. A G.I. Joe or a Marvel Legend, easy to throw into a quick little pose and just take a quick photo. Transformers come with a whole bunch of different engineering challenges, and not everyone is up to the task. For instance, here we see Hotshot, and what is weird about him, of course, is the fact that his backpack is not the right way up. This is bad because this is a Legends class figure, or what we used to call Legends class. Now we call them the Legion class, and they're that big. And they couldn't figure out that level of transformation. That should already be a warning sign. So I found a whole bunch of really bad official stock photos of Transformers over the years. They might have been used on a website, on an online shop, in a magazine, whatever, but for the most part, they are all official photos from Hasbro that were approved and put out there in order to try and sell a figure. So let's see just how good of a job they did. And the first one, we're starting up kind of mild here with Armada Optimus, the deluxe version, with all the articulation. The Bendy Prime, who is not very bendy in this photo. He's very 90-degree angle, thanks to this pose. So the weird thing about this is, of course, like they didn't like double fold the torso together. So but like, I often wonder what goes through the head of the people who were coming up with these things, and they get to this point in the transformation, go, yes, that looks correct. Even though now he's like twice as wide as any shot of him has ever been. I don't know why, like, I want to know if it's either like, oh, well, this looks correct, this looks like the finishing point of the transformation, or, it's close enough. I'm done. I can't figure it out from here. But that one's pretty basic. That's basic. Let's see a good one. Let's see oh. So this one's unfortunate. I remember this one. This is what happens when you try to do the torso rip fatality in Mortal Kombat and the spine just doesn't want to let go of the pelvic bone. Unfortunately, you did it to the medic of the team. He looks like he's in the middle of dying in the Transformers 86 movie. Or he looks like after the Autobot shuttle crashed, because we never really got to see what happened to it after the Decepticons left it. Very unfortunate. This is not a great looking toy to begin with, and then to mistransform it in the stock photo hurts it even worse. Alright, next up, same toy line. This is the Saddest Cheetor. He looks like old man Cheetor. So we can see where his shoulders are way lower because they are not tabbed in correctly. And that's really all that's wrong with the photo, but man, it makes such a massive difference in just how the toy carries himself. And it just makes him look like super scrawny. He looks like a wet cat is what he looks like. And like the sourpuss they gave him as like a sculpting for the face does not help. Does not help. All right. I kind of forget who I lined up in these photos, so let's see who got... Oh, right. Just in case you thought it was only older figures that this happened to, here's the photo of Kingdom Ultra Magnus that made me skip this toy so many times. Because that big old badonkadonk, that big old butt on the back... Okay, I don't expect a photography guy to know that that can like lift up and hide behind the upper part of the back and look a lot better as a silhouette. But why would you think that, like, why wouldn't you ask somebody, like, turn around, like, hey, Bob, yeah, come here. Does this look right? Does this look like right? Did we intentionally create a Transformer with a butt that you could park a bus on? Did we do that intentionally? Because Bob would say no. Someone needed to ask Bob, and someone transforming this toy did not ask Bob. But we get a good laugh out of it. Now, I did pick up Magnus. I did pick up Kingdom Magnus. And I actually like him a lot better than the Siege or even the Galaxy Upgrade Optimus that was the original version. So, you know, why not? Why not? You know, it's better than it looks. Oh, this one always made me laugh. Okay, so I don't really expect them to know. Okay, so I don't really expect them to know that not every Transformer has a robot mode. But to get to this mode and to have Elephant and look at this and go, needs to be a standing elephant. This elephant needs to be upright and look like his entire belly has exploded out from his guts are all gone. Like, I don't know why, but this one always makes me laugh. Because it's such a simple toy, and they still managed to screw the photo up. It's absolutely amazing to me that way. Crab people. I don't know what someone was thinking. Now, to be fair, the mold is not the easiest one to figure out. I don't know why this was the decision. And here's the thing that bugged me. This wasn't a new figure. This was a universe repaint. This came out, like a couple years after the original RID Grimlock. They had the original examples of how that toy was supposed to look, and no one did the research. So this is what we got for the stock photo. Moving on, more universe, more purple and green actually. It's our old friend Silverbolt trying to be General Grievous. Not gonna lie, I stole that line, but that's you kind of have to go there. Once again, what is it with always like the arms like super stretched out, like he's T-posing to show dominance? This is not what any Transformer has ever looked like. I don't know, I just don't know why you get to such tiny, scrawny parts and then go, yes, that's exactly how the designers intended this toy to look. Oh man, why will I never stop laughing at you? Universe again, and man, what did they do to my boy Skywarp? What did they do? So Skywarp's already, like, his toy already kind of does that like wide shoulder thing just because of the way that it's jointed. But he's full on Johnny Long Torso here because they didn't collapse the cockpit down at all. To be fair, if you transformed him this way, he'd seem like he was really worth his money because he'd be huge for a deluxe. So maybe that's a pro tip. Maybe it feels like you get a little bit more out of your money if you're buying that figure now. Just transform him horribly. He'll look like he costs a lot more. So here's one. Here's a catalog shot. Hero Decepticon. Now, we'll ignore the oxymoron there. Archforce, the Hero Decepticon, comes with 3 powerful air-powered firing missiles. So, this is Hero Megatron. They've named him Archforce here. That Archforce is weird. I feel like that's a brand of, like, corrective shoes. I kind of love the idea of, like, transforming that mold wrong to get this like quasi warpath thing going on where his cannon is his chest. In a weird way, it oddly works. Like in another universe, like this could have been intentional. But we know what Hero Megatron's supposed to look like, and we know how horribly mistransformed this one is. Next up, whew, oh, Dark Scorponok, who apparently, aside from like part Scorpion and part Excavator and part Steam Shovel and all that, has also added Ostrich to his list of components. Super, super tall here. They almost had it. They almost had it. Now, the toy's backwards, for starters. They don't know where the head is because they never folded the tail down in order to actually get to the part where you can uncover the head. So this is about where they quit and gave up and just said, see, like, you would think someone would send them the CAD model from the instructions. You would think someone would show them like a prototype from the designer, like, oh, get it to how it looks here. No, they literally just hand them a toy in one mode and go, figure it out. And there was no one at Hasbro that looked at these photos and went, no, this will actually, like, this will really hurt the toy sales if this is how we advertise this figure. No, we can't change that. And some of this makes it to the packaging. That's the worst part. You don't even get a good example of the toy in, like, on the box. Oh no. Oh no, Razor Claw. So Razor Claw's Beast Mode is doing a handstand while simultaneously pooping his robot mode out. I don't remember this toy being terribly complex to transform. It is a Beast Wars figure after all, but man, I love how, like, if you ignore the fact that he's doing this, like, Devil Gundam thing, like Dark Gundam thing, where, like, all of his bulk is below the waist, I love how he's just doing this, like, zombie Frankenstein thing with his arms. That's actually amusing to me. Yeah, this one's really unfortunate. Really unfortunate. And something about that time period. When you got a brand new series of Transformers that's aimed at collectors, the last thing you want to do is have someone who is apparently trying to transform this figure with in hard mode with like one arm tied behind their back and two broken fingers. I don't know why you get to this part and go, the head only being half up, that's correct. Yeah, that looks correct. Having no knees whatsoever, yeah. I don't know why they thought a Transformer should suffer from dwarfism. I wouldn't be against that if they did. You gotta have to do it better than this. It's bizarre. And alternators were like infamously hard to transform back in the day. Now these days, probably not so much. We've had really complicated figures beyond this. But I can understand where this would give a lot of people frustration if they were not familiar with how Transformers were engineered. And the dropped arms continue. Now, we're not only talking about the fact that the shoulders are completely like the arms are coming out of his belly. The arms are coming out of his like love handles area. So that is already wrong, and someone thought that was okay. But we're also, of course, looking at the fact that he's using the Sunstreaker chest instead of his own. Admittedly, that's a trick that the toy is not familiar with, but it also means his hands are backwards in this photo. I can understand not being familiar with how that trick on that toy works. You might notice that the thumb is on the back side of the hand. That might stick out to some people. I don't know. Moving on from there. Oh. So this is a twofer. So apparently, whoever was designing, or whoever was in the photography rather, for Energon, saw that Energon Ironhide with an exposed head in in the vehicle mode and went, I guess they just have that. I guess that's a thing. So they wanted to make sure Megatron's head was nice and prominent. Not only flipping the vehicle upside down, completely ignoring the cockpit, by the way, and the landing gear. No, they also decided that the head is not going to just be folded down and hot and, like facing his chest. No, we're going to rotate the head around so it's facing forward. I know it used to be Armada Megatron, but you do not have to stick the head out forward from the vehicle like that. Oh, and then they tried the robot mode. They didn't do much better. They did not do much better. Not a whole lot right there. In fact, a whole lot of wrong. In fact, very little that is right. I think the legs are about the only thing that was correct there. It looks like they tried for like a weird battle station mode, almost like Megatron transforms into like ramparts and just like plays defense. No, this does not work. All right, so I saved my personal favorite for last. I told you alternators were hard to transform. None of them were more infamous, I think, back then than Grimlock. For whatever reason, Grimlock was the one where people went, no, this is just way more complex than it has to be. I can never, to this day, I can't remember if I ever, I don't think you could hand me an Alternator Grimlock and I actually transform it correctly. But you would think they already had that experience once. Stock photographers already went through that mold once. So how could they screw up the remold? They could screw it up like that. Whatever that monstrosity is. So you remember the Marvel comic where they showed Megatron and Ratchet had been like fused together? Like some bizarre twisted accident of science? This is what this looks like. This looks like pain. This looks like physical manifestation of pain. Shoulders are not connected. The shoulders are like angled down, so he doesn't have his pauldrons out. Torso extended. His head isn't seated correctly. The feet are just the chair, the seats of the car. Oh, this is just such a brutal picture. This is such a brutal picture. It makes me laugh, though. Like, this was legitimately what we had to see to decide if we were going to buy the toy or not. Of course, we knew it was mistransformed, but man, it makes it so hard to get any kind of impression on what the toy is supposed to look like. Now, I was going to end the video at Wheeljack. However, there is one more to show because I want to show that it isn't just Hasbro stock photographers that get this wrong. I want to show you a catalog photo of Revenge of the Fallen Optimus Prime done outside of Hasbro. And that's certainly a look. That's certainly a thing. He looks like he detonated. He looks like this thing was loaded with C4 at some point. Now, to be fair, you just handed a photographer that is not only unfamiliar with Transformers, but does not work at Hasbro at all and has zero experience with these things as photography pieces. You went and handed them the most complex Transformer that they had released in like a decade. Probably one of the most complex Transformers I personally ever played with. What shocks me about it, though, is this toy came packaged in robot mode. So what happened to this toy where they had this to take a photo of? Like, all you had to do was take it out of the box and snap a picture. This is just an atrocity. So, fortunately, most stock photos are a lot better these days. They don't really make those mistakes anymore. Once in a great while, but it's nowhere like this. So, the days of these are well behind us, which is unfortunate because while it does improve the sales of the toy and gives us a better first impression, it robs us of a good laugh. And we need more good laughs, don't we? I hope you got a good laugh out of some of these photos, and hopefully in the next video we'll do something a little bit more amusing and maybe get a few more laughs out of you. I hope so, at least. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.